Hello. Starting the live stream right on time. I'll give everyone a few minutes to join. How's everyone doing? This is a pretty last minute live stream. So let me make sure we've got, there we go. A pretty last minute live stream because I have the opportunity to go to the American Music Awards today and didn't really plan on doing any content around it, but I thought it'd be fun, especially I didn't have a video this week. So hi Jennifer, hi Jasmine, 13 Tay Tay. I feel like we've got a Swiftie in the house already. Hi Angela. Okay, so not only am I going to the American Music Awards, where is my headband? I had grabbed it and now I don't have it. Not only am I going to the American Music Awards today, but I actually have the opportunity to be on the red carpet, and then I'm going into the actual show. So lots of opportunity to be on camera, and it is, early in the day, but I do have to be there a little bit earlier to check in. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today on the live stream is my makeup. And then if y'all want, I can vlog and upload a vlog of the rest of my day later this week because I am actually allowed to bring my phone and take pictures and video, which is gonna be so fun. So let me know if that is something y'all are interested in. But I have a feeling it's gonna be a small group here in the live stream. So thank you so much for joining. I've got the chat open here if you see me looking off screen. But I do realize it's a holiday. Happy Memorial Day to everybody in the US. I'm sure everybody is having so much fun. It's been beautiful weather here in Vegas. But if you did happen to tune in today and you're spending your morning with me or early afternoon, I greatly appreciate it. Let's see who all is in the chat. We've got Cat Lady, we've got Tethered Games, and I think we saw Jasmine earlier, who is clearly also a Swiftie, and Taylor Swift is nominated for a few awards today. So it's going to be pretty interesting, and I'm very excited to see who ends up on the red carpet. And we've got Sam, my girl Sam, and I think Christine might be joining a little later too. I'm going with one of my best friends, Christine. We're doing this together. So if you're just joining, I am going to the American Music Awards. Not only am I going to the award show, but I'm actually going to be a fan on the red carpet. Often at these award shows, they have like a group of fans kind of like cheering everyone on, and there is an opportunity to interact with the artists as they enter the venue. So that's how I'm going to be spending my day. Let's get started. It is 9:48 a.m. I am getting ready kind of early, but it's going to be a long day. I have to get there, early afternoon. So I am going to start with my foundation today. I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint. Now, luckily, this is going to be inside, which I was super worried about. I thought we were going to be outside for this whole thing. And it's been hot in Vegas. I mean, like just in time for the holiday, it hit 100 for the first time this year. And I was very concerned with being on the red carpet and getting exhausted, but we are going to be inside a hotel. Hi, Angela, welcome. So with that said, I don't necessarily have to worry about like super sweat-proof makeup today, but it is still gonna have to last me from 9:48 to about 10 p.m. So going in with my skin tint, this is definitely one of my favorite long wear foundation products, and I feel like it just looks really blurring on me lately. Hi Christine, here's Christine. She joined. How's the audio? Is it like super loud? I'm just gonna turn it down a bit because I see that it's kind of in the red here. The other kind of upside to this being inside is that I don't have to worry so much about SPF. And I'll tell you why that was also a concern of mine. I've been doing sort of like a skin detox where I'm doing a process of elimination in my skincare routine to see what the heck has been breaking me out, because there's been a lot of congestion in my skin and not a lot of new products. So I've had to slowly take things out of my routine to see what improves my skin. And unfortunately, the SPF I've been using that has worked for me for years is suddenly breaking me out. And I don't know why. I was using the Innisfree SPF, which is a K-beauty brand. I used to love it. It made my makeup look so beautiful. But I don't know, it's just not agreeing with my skin lately. So I am going SPF free today, which obviously is not something that I necessarily recommend. But again, I'm gonna be inside. And also for heavily photographed events or, photographed situations, SPF does tend to give flashback. So for like red carpet makeup, which is what we're doing today, typically that's not something that you incorporate into your routine. We've got more people in the chat. Cat Lady said, what primer did I use? Hopefully that explains that, but I actually don't typically use a primer with this skin tint. I find that this sits on the skin a lot more natural and stays long lasting more so when used straight on bare skin. So if anything, I just put like my moisturizer and SPF on. Earlier today, I put on my La Roche-Posay Double Repair Moisturizer. That is the only base layer that I have on today. But personally, I think that this looks way better set on top to get if you need that extra, whatever it may be, blurring or setting. But I totally recommend using this on bare skin. I feel like it's just meant to really sink in. I have had this mirror it's my favorite mirror. It's Mean Girls. This is from the Revolution Mean Girls collaboration. Mean Girls is my favorite movie, the original. The second one was not, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I understand that it was definitely, it was based on the musical, which was based on the movie. There's gonna be some difference to it, but I'm kind of a purist when it comes to Mean Girls. Although we love Renee Rapp in this house. We love Renee Rapp in this chat. She is performing today and very, very excited to see her live because she's an artist that I have not caught live yet. So I'm just kind of going over the spots where I feel like I need a little more coverage. Luckily, not too many places because like I said, since I cut out that SPF, my skin's been doing a little bit better. Hey, Brittany Parker, I'm so excited that you were able to catch the live because I think last time you weren't able to join us live, right? No shade on my Renee. Hey, I'm not putting any shade on Renee. I'm putting shade on the remake of Mean Girls. And with that said, I did like the Mean Girls musical on stage. I didn't see the Broadway version, obviously, but I did see it when it came here to Vegas and thought that was great. I think the triple adaptation was like too much. It was much too much. But yeah, so with the American Music Awards, I feel like, so there are so many awards nowadays, like award ceremonies. What are y'all actually watching? Because I feel like there's so much overlap with the awards. We've like 2 or 3 that has to do with movies or movies and TV. And then we have obviously the Grammys, which I went to in February. That was that was probably one of the best Grammys in a while, just with the performances, the nominees. It was very girl power for sure. But the difference with the American Music Awards is that America votes, or I don't know, do they check to see if you're in America, or can like anybody vote? Because you just vote online or on Instagram. But that's kind of the cool part, is that this is definitely more fan-centric versus the Grammys, which is the Recording Academy voting, so people who are in the industry. And that can obviously get maybe a little bit bias. I think there's been a lot of conversation around that. So this is solely fan voting, and that does kind of bring a fun element to it because it's really about the fans getting activated. And like, did y'all see that, that like with the Oscars, I think it is, they only just made it a rule that the people who are voting on the Oscars have to watch the movies? Like, at least send them a sizzle reel. You know what I'm saying? Brittany says, my dad passed away and then 2 days later my cat passed, so it's a lot, but so happy to have a great distraction. I'm so sorry to hear that. I can't even imagine. I'm hoping that you're finding peace and that, hopefully you find things that are still bringing you joy right now. What else do we got? Oscars and Grammys, and that's it for sure. Everyone was at those Grammys, absolutely. It was definitely the who's who. So this is definitely going to be a new vibe. And the other thing is that with the American Music Awards, there actually hasn't been one, I think, in like three years. I was looking it up because I was trying to see who won last year because I did not watch it. And apparently there was none last year or since like 2022. Because like their contract was up or something and they just like never organized it again. So this is the first American Music Awards in a while. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. With that said, I do feel like there's a lot of overlap in terms of the nominees from the Grammys. We've got Taylor in a lot of categories. We've got Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter. So I'm excited to see if it kind of mirrors the Grammys or if it's completely different when fans are in charge of voting, because y'all know Taylor did not win anything at the Grammys, which was kind of shocking. I realized I did not tell you what I used on my brows. For my brows, I was just using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. Makeup and Netflix, definitely. Taylor is announcing Rep TV today, obviously. I mean, we can only hope. We can only hope. I like what is the woman waiting for at this point, right? I am going to set my brows with the L'Oreal Brow Lamination Gel. This has been my go-to lately because it really is holding my brows in place all day without giving them like a hard cast, which a lot of the like heavy duty brow gels do, especially because I have such dark brows. It's kind of like they end up looking like I've oversprayed hairspray on them. So this has been a really nice kind of natural brow gel. I also have my emergency here today because I've been doing a lot of people-y things and gotta keep the immune system up for sure. Let me hold your hand when I tell you this. Christine, I know we are all, and we've got John in the house also calling us clowns for asking for Rep TV. Look, it's the only thing that is getting me through the mess that is 2025, is that probably, it's manifesting, probably Rep TV is gonna come out this year. I mean, it's gotta be, right? I am priming my eyes with the e.l.f. Lock It Down primer. So as you saw from the thumbnail, I do plan on doing sort of a red carpet smoky eye today because I feel like the grunge kind of black smoky eye is coming back to red carpet looks, just from what we've seen at the Grammys and at the Oscars and at the Met Gala for sure. There were so many smoky eyes. And y'all know I was a little baby emo in the early 2000s, so I love me a good black smoky eye. So that is my plan today. Now, in case y'all are like, how are you going? You know, how did you get into this? I did talk about it a little bit in my Grammys video, but I often apply for these sort of like production opportunities to be seat fillers, or I guess you could call them extras as well, but specifically for televised music events where they just need more bodies in the venue. So sometimes it has to do with they need people to fill seats when people get up to go to the bathroom, so that way on camera it doesn't look like there's a bunch of empty seats, because that's kind of embarrassing for the show. And sometimes it's just that they want fans in the audience. They want people who are hyped and pumped up and like singing along to the song. So I did do it for the Grammys back in February. I've done it like 3 or 4 times for the iHeart Music Festival, which is also here in Vegas. It's not an award ceremony. They do have an awards. It's just kind of a televised concert, but they both have seat filling opportunities for that, but also they put a lot of fans in the front just to have on camera where they, pan to you. So this was a super last minute opportunity. I didn't even know they were in Vegas this year, but my friend Christine, who's in the chat, told me about them, or told me about the site to apply, and I was like, well, okay, I guess we're just gonna do it, and got accepted. So that's the Monday plan now is just going to the American Music Awards. I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Nude Mood palette. This is their all matte palette, and I just find a good solid neutral matte eyeshadow palette hard to find, but also very handy for a plethora of different looks. I'm going to use this cream shade here to set my primer to kind of get a nice base blending shade going on. Hello everyone, Sanja's here. Greetings from Macedonia, Southeast Europe, 7 p.m. here. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining. That's really cool that we've got people from all over the world. Now, I'm not sure if the AMAs are broadcasted everywhere, considering they are the AMAs, but they are on Paramount Plus this year, if I remember correctly. Somebody let me know if I've got that right. But definitely, even if you don't watch the actual show, if you don't know who anybody is and you just really don't care, at least watch the red carpet and see if you end up seeing me in the background, like cheering for celebrities, because that would be really funny. Because that's what I'm kind of expecting this to be, is I'm going to be basically the screaming fan in back of the paparazzi photos. That's what I'm assuming this is. They just said that they needed fans for the red carpet to cheer on the artists as they come in. And I said, that sounds fun. And I have seen TikToks from people who do this sort of thing at other events, and the artists do come up and like interact with the fans, sign stuff, take photos. So, hey, you never know. Oh, it's Sonia in English. Thank you so much for correcting me, Sonia. We've got hello from Arizona. How are you doing in Arizona? Is it hot yet? Because it is definitely hot here in Vegas already. Okay, I'm gonna go in. I've got like some pre-dirtied up brushes because I just washed all my brushes and I'm trying to be more methodical about how I use them so I don't use all 150 before I wash them, because that's a nightmare for me. Okay, I'm gonna go into, I think, I'm gonna go into this middle brown. Is this focusing? Like, what are we doing? There we go. I'm gonna go into this middle brown here. They were going to pick, that is true. So in most cases, being a seat filler is not a paid job. Most of the time, you're just kind of getting in to whatever the exciting event is for free. However, this time it was actually supposed to be paid. They were gonna pay us like $100 to be there. But then last minute, they were like, actually, instead of paying you, we're just gonna let you into the actual award ceremony. Because at first, we were just gonna go to the red carpet. And I don't know, I guess they just want more people inside. So that was what they switched it to. I was kind of disappointed because I was like, hey, $100 to sit on the sidelines of the red carpet. That sounds fun. But it'll be cool to be inside. The performers this year, I will admit, I don't think it's as stacked of a lineup as the Grammys was. But I am excited for Renee. I'm also excited for Benson Boone. I did see him perform at the Grammys and he was incredible. I call him Benson Backflip Boone because he physically cannot do a performance without doing a backflip. And I don't know how, we've got to support him so that way he can pay his chiropractor bills for sure. Yeah, it is. It's definitely still cool. It'll be an experience. The thing is like, I told Christine, I was like, look, if Taylor is not there in person, I don't know if I'm going to stay for the whole show, because that's one of the main reasons why I'm there. I got to see what happens. We gotta manifest in person and have some Swiftie energy to get rep TV for sure. But yeah, I am. Oh, are there surprise performances at the AMAs? That's a great question. I don't know, because there hasn't been an AMAs for like 3 years. So I don't know what like the new normal is going to be. That would be cool. I will say Jennifer Lopez is hosting it though, and that's weird energy to me. Like, because the last thing she did was that weird biopic, or like the weird music video movie that she did that people clowned on for months. So that was just kind of a strange choice, but we'll see. I mean, she's still an icon, I guess. I missed what you said about performers. You got 2 ads. That's so weird. I thought that I turned down or off the ads for the live stream. So sorry. But yeah, for the performances, I think we've got Benson Boone, we've got Renee Rapp, and then who else do we have? I know Gwen Stefani is performing, and who else? I don't know who else can someone look it up and put it in the chat of who else is performing. I have the nominees up on my phone. So Artist of the Year, I'm going to start blending in my crease right now. Also, I'm going to go into this dark brown. Here we go. So for Artist of the Year, we have Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Kendrick Lamar, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, oh my God, there's so many, Sabrina Carpenter, SZA, Taylor Swift, and Zach Bryan. That is a lot of people nominated. I feel like, the Grammys, isn't it just like 4 or 5? How many was that? That was like 10 people. Becky G with Some Guy. I agree about J-Lo. She probably paid or pulled strings to do that for the exposure. That is so funny, Cam. That's so, so funny. Lainey Wilson. Oh, I like Lainey Wilson. I don't really know any of her actual music. I watched Yellowstone up until the last season because it wasn't streaming yet. So that's kind of all I know her from. Janet Jackson. Yeah, it's kind of a weird lineup. Is it just me, or is the lineup kind of all over the place in terms of the performances? The actual nominees are pretty on point when it comes to mainstream music. And that's another thing, is I think the AMAs focus a little bit more on just mainstream versus the Grammys, where, you have a lot of untelevised Grammys categories where they cover way more than what you see on TV, where you have like world artists and gospel and just a lot more categories. But the thing about the AMAs being more mainstream is that there's a lot of overlap. I realized looking at the nominations, like there are some people who are nominated for nearly everything unless it's just not their genre. Trying to get all the generations to watch. Sam, I think you're making a very, very good point. It's like they're trying to be everything, everywhere, all at once, but it makes for just like a weird experience. I don't know. I don't want to talk crap about it until, I'm there, and then I'll decide whether or not it's worth talking smack. Like half 2000s coded. Is that what it is? Are they trying to appeal to like millennials? I don't know if Jennifer Lopez is the right choice for that. Because I don't think we really like her that much either. I don't know. Even Janet Jackson is, I guess, an elder millennial. Oh, she does have that, one of her songs is going viral right now, right? And you'll meet at the bar, who'll drive a funky car. Okay, I don't want to get copyright infringement on YouTube, so that is all you're getting from me today. Okay, so out of those artists, I'll read them again. Ariana, Billie, Chappell, Kendrick, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, Sabrina Carpenter, SZA, Taylor Swift, and Zach Bryan. Who do we think is getting Artist of the Year? Because remember, Taylor did not get anything from the Grammys. However, it's hard because since this is solely fan-driven, I mean, obviously Taylor probably has the most rabid fan base out of all of these people who can get activated very like strongly. But if you think about 2025, Taylor's been kind of like on the low, right? Because she's been having a much needed rest. So it's kind of hard to say that she's outdone some of these artists like pop culture wise for 2025. But a lot of her like biggest achievements were in the past calendar year. So I don't know, that's kind of tough. What do y'all think? I'd be happy with Taylor or Billie, of course. Honestly, I have no idea. The first AMAs went live in 1974. That is a fun fact. I honestly don't dislike J-Lo, but as a singer, no. So yes, it's weird. I feel like, wasn't it also, it was also revealed recently that a lot of her vocals on her actual album aren't her. They're like still the demo vocals from whoever recorded it. I mean, hey, look, I don't want to I'm going to say allegedly based on what I have seen on TikTok. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, I'm doing a really soft blend here before I start adding the black, because I want the black smoky eye to really blend into the brown for that gradient. I am gonna bring that dark brown though onto my bottom lash line just a bit, because I'm also gonna bring the black onto the bottom lash line. Also, I gotta keep an eye on time because I'm meeting Christine at a very specific time today. And sometimes I get a little too yappy on these lives. You can only imagine how much I have to edit my actual videos because I'm just kind of long-winded. I feel like awards are not truly giving the awards to artists that actually make sense when they win. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think I'd be happy for Artist of the Year. I mean, I think it would be pretty dang cool if Chapel won it, because she won Best New Artist at the Grammys. She's also nominated for Best New Artist here, though. I think I honestly think she has the chops to win just Best Artist, period, and not even necessarily New Artist anymore, because, you know, it's been years now that she's like been in her come up era, you know what I mean? I'm a little more basic. I'd also be happy with Chapel for sure. Morgan Wallen, I think he just like ruined himself with the SNL situation. At least for me, like I had no problem with his music at all. There were songs that I liked. The one with isn't it with Post Malone? I had some help. But the whole SNL thing was so icky. It 100% gave me the ick, and yeah, there's just no coming back from it. So I think I'd be happy with Chapel for that. New artist, Benson Boone Chapel, Gracie Abrams, ooh, that's hard. Shabuzi, Teddy Swims, and Tommy Richmond, who I've never heard of. So we'll have to put him on in the car. See, I think if Chapel gets Best Artist, which I think she could, I think Benson could get Best New Artist, but Gracie Abrams has been having a good year too. What do we think? I don't want Sabrina to win. Sam is a Sabrina hater. Sabrina hater. Okay, I am gonna go in with my black liner and start the smoky process. So I'm using the Essence Stay and Play Gel Eyeliner here, my favorite. And then I do want to use a brush with this since I already blended my eyeshadow. I'm not doing like the whole tape situation with my liner to get it sharp. So I'm gonna use a brush. This is the Sigma E06 winged liner brush. You can use code /beauty for a discount at Sigma. Also, I wanted to mention, if y'all don't use Rakuten to shop online to get cash back, for e.l.f., they have 20% off cash back. I don't know if it's just today or like Memorial Day week or whatever, but I did leave the link in the description, my referral link, if you want to sign up. Basically, you just click, you can do like the Chrome browser extension, or you can click through from their website to shop on e.l.f. You get 20% back after your purchase. And I've used it for literally over a decade. I used it a lot in college to get money back, and works really well. I just get it through PayPal. Wait, what happened? I don't know. Are we still live? Are we good to go? Can y'all put in the chat? Are we still streaming? I'm just gonna do a little check here to make sure we are still good to go, because y'all, that message confused me. Yes, we're good. Okay, Sam, then what happened? Why are you scaring me? All right. I'm gonna start my eyeliner. So I'm going to load up my black liner brush, or the black liner onto my Sigma brush, and I will go ahead and zoom you in. There we go. So let's move on to Album of the Year. Cowboy Carter, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie, Chapel's Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, Charlie Brat, Gracie Abrams, Future and Metro Boomin', Kendrick Lamar, Post Malone, Sabrina, and Taylor Swift. See, it's like it's been a full year since Taylor put out TTPD. That's why I'm like, are people still riding for her for the album for this round of award shows? Does that make sense? Oh, yes, LOL. Oh, you meant SNL. Okay. So if y'all did not catch the Morgan Wallen thing with SNL, so he was the musical guest, right? So first strike was he was asked to like make a cameo in one of the skits, which is pretty normal. Like usually when they have a musical guest, they'll find a way to work them into a skit, right? He said no. And it was like a very benign skit about how in New York, like with all of the weird pop-up restaurants and stuff lately, it's just turned into standing in line all the time. Like that was literally the joke of the whole skit, and it was a musical skit. It was a song about how you go to New York and all you do is stand in line. He said he didn't want to be a part of it, which is like kind of weird. It's like, you're at SNL. Participate. You know what I mean? So they ended up getting Joe Jonas instead to do that particular skit, which is kind of funny that Joe's just out here doing side quests. And then after that, he performs and it's whatever, he sounds fine. But so you know how at the end of SNL, they have the host come out with like the whole cast, and they say, thank you so much, and thank you to Morgan Wallen, and thanks for whatever. And then they kind of like all stay on screen while the credits roll, and hug each other and, camaraderie, blah, 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 blah. He literally like assumed, I forgot who was I think it was the woman from Anora was the host. She's like, okay, thank you, good night. Immediately he walks off, and he doesn't even walk off like side stage. He walks off in front of the camera and disappears. And it was like, that was really strange energy. And then on top of that, right after that happens, like 15 minutes after he leaves, he posted this goofy Instagram story of him like getting on the plane after the show with a caption, "Get me to God's country," as if being in New York was like so hard for him. It was just such goofy energy. And the SNL castmates kind of denounced it as being rude, and they've done a lot of memeing of the whole "Get me to God's country" thing. But if you've seen that around, that's what that's from, was him like storming off of SNL and then being like just kind of like uptight about the whole thing. It was so strange. So yeah, that's why I don't like Morgan Wallen, because that was just bizarro. And you know what? Everyone's allowed to have bad days. But then he also tried to turn it into merch. He like made "Get Me to God's Country" shirts like 2 days later. It was weird. It was weird. But my whole thing is like, why are you not going along with, if you're at SNL, be part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point then you're just there for the self-serving reasons of, promoting your album, whatever. Like, give back a little to the audience. Like, they just paid you. You could have declined. Exactly. Like, why are you here? If you weren't going to have fun, if it was that much of a, I don't know, if it was that much against what you stand for or whatever the case may be, then it's just bizarro. Speaking of SNL, Adam and I went to see Marcelo Hernandez last night in Vegas, which ended up being a much later night than I expected. But it was super fun. So if you don't know who he is Domingo. Have you seen the Domingo sketch with Ariana Grande? So he did a stand-up last night, and he was so good. It was so funny. But it was the first like show, whether concert or comedy show, that we had those bags. They ask you to lock up your phone now. So that way I guess you can't record, which is fine. I guess, you can have your policy, but it was kind of annoying because it slowed down the entry process like crazy. They had to like explain the whole thing and give everyone a bag, but then it really slowed down the leaving process because there was no rhyme or reason to it. You just had to like find an usher with an unlock mechanism and just like shove shove your phone in their face. There was no lines. It was just everyone trying to get their phone out of this locked bag. It was probably pre-planned for the attention and the merch later. I mean, it could have been, which is still icky, you know. Yonder bags, that's exactly what they're called. They were called yonder bags, but it's just like, I didn't necessarily mind it. Although they also took my Apple Watch, which I was kind of like, what am I gonna do with an Apple Watch? You know what I mean? And there were people who, I was kind of, I was surprised that there weren't more people arguing about the phones, but there were people arguing about the watch, because there are some people who use their watch as medical devices. I had a friend who had diabetes, or has diabetes, and her Apple Watch is like connected to her monitor, and it'll give her an alert if she needs to take care of her blood sugar. So I don't know. I just feel like they haven't really worked out all the kinks to asking people to lock up the electronics that we all rely on in this day and age. But yeah, the leaving aspect was kind of a nightmare because of that. I've only done that for tapings. Yeah, I don't even think that they were taping the show yesterday. My theory was that it's so that they can like retell jokes, and it's not something that everybody's seen on social media. That was my theory of why they didn't want people taking video. Okay, so I've got my wing here. I want to make it smoky. I'm going to use the Moira Pro Long Priming Cream Shadow. This is kind of a double duty. You can use it as an eye base. You can use it as a gel liner. You can use it as a cream shadow. I'm going to use this to kind of smoke out this wing. I just wanted to get the clean wing on before I went in with this. So let me get a brush here. And for Moira, they did give me a new coupon code that's now 15% off, /beauty15. They have so much good stuff. I love this. I love their brow pencil. I love their duochrome shadow sticks. So good. Actually, this might be too fluffy of a brush. Hold on. Okay. Let me blend this right over just on top. I want to keep the bottom of this pretty flat. So who else do we have with this AMA situation? Song of the year, we have Benson Boone, Beautiful Things, which, I mean, that song was everywhere this year. Billy, Birds of a Feather, Chapel, Good Luck Babe, that was also everywhere this year. Hozier, Too Sweet, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, which won the Grammy. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile. Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, I Had Some Help. I love Post, but I can't support Morgan. Sabrina with Espresso. Shabuzi, A Bar Song, and then Teddy Swims, Lose Control. That is a very stacked category. What do y'all think? Because in terms of just like pure radio play, all of those are pretty dang strong contenders. Are you bringing snacks? Yes. Yes, Christine. I was going to bring a protein bar, because that's the other, like a little peek behind the curtain. They do not feed the extras. Like when I went to the Grammys as well, we did not have anything to eat from, I think that day it was like from 2 to 10. It was pretty crazy, but also with all the excitement and stuff, I don't know. I just wasn't hungry anyway. Kendrick, Sam says Kendrick for Song of the Year. I mean, everybody goes so hard for that song. I feel like even if you're not a huge Kendrick fan, you know the song, you sing along to the song. It's kind of a cultural thing at this point. So definitely would not be mad if Kendrick won. I think that would be well deserved for sure. I don't know. I just feel like Chapel deserves so much. I want her to win some. She'll win something tonight for sure. Okay, I'm just getting that nice and smoky And then I'm going to start blending with brown again. I really want to get this corner here really dark and smudgy. The thing with doing like a smoky, smudgy eye is, as much as you want it to look effortlessly messy, you want it to be controlled chaos. I don't want it to get messier as time goes on, so which is why I'm using kind of these longer wear products. But the other day I saw someone on TikTok call this, they were doing like this look, just kind of a smudgy, smoky eye that was super popular in like the early 2000s. They called it rock star girlfriend aesthetic. I'm like, why do we need to give everything a new name? Christine says Kendrick swept the Grammys, so I'd like that song to be done. Fair enough. Give it to one of my girls, please. You know what? Fair. Absolutely fair. John says, if only someone in your life could have gotten you into Kendrick. What are you talking? Are you talking to me or Christine? I'm into Kendrick. In fact, I was hoping, or I was looking into tickets. He's on tour with SZA, because I thought that'd be a really fun show, but they were really expensive. Everything is so expensive now. But I think that was at Allegiant Stadium here in Vegas, which is like our big football stadium. That's where Beyonce performed. That's where Taylor Swift performed. So anything there is going to be more expensive than, say, like T-Mobile Arena. But even the nosebleeds, I was looking, because I think it's actually, I don't know if it was earlier this year, it was this summer. I remember I was looking specifically for Adam's birthday, but it was expensive. But that would have been fun, especially because SZA's bringing out special guests. She just brought out Justin Bieber at her show, which I would have literally died and levitated into space had I been there live. John is talking to Sam. Okay, so next, let's move things along back into that e.l.f. palette. I'm going to blend this black into the brown just for a little bit more of some smokiness. I'm going to go into this darkest brown black shade. Yeah, that's the thing with the American Music Awards, is like I feel like it's kind of a redo of the Grammys in terms of like having very similar nominees, but it's just that we're voting on them. Although I will admit that I forgot to vote. Christine, did you vote? Because I did not. I forgot. And the fact that it's so much later in the year that some of these songs, like Christine said, have sort of had their moment. I don't know. It's like, but even with Not Like Us, I think around the Grammys, it was kind of at its peak because that was also right before Kendrick did the Super Bowl. So it was very much in its prime, and now it's kind of like slowing down a little bit, in my opinion. So I'm just going right over where that black liner ended, and I'm keeping smoking. And I am wearing just like a little black dress. They said to be classy but comfortable. And so I have this little black dress with a built-in bra, and it's backless, which I love. It's from OGL. And for me, the built-in bra makes it. It's just so comfortable, and I don't have to worry about the whole backless situation and trying to find those sticky things that come off when you sweat, which has happened to me at a televised concert like this before. I wore those dumb sticky bra thingamabobs and they kept popping off, and it was a nightmare because I was literally front row on camera at this concert thing. Okay, loving how this is coming out. Nice and smoky, nice and dark. Now, for the lid, I was thinking of adding some glitter. What do we think? Did they say you couldn't wear heels or just strongly? Actually, I do think they said no heels. I don't remember. They did say no. They did just say make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes and that the waist down, they said that no one's gonna see you. So I think that was to kind of mitigate people being like, but I want to be cute. Although that does kind of change the game. Like once we're inside in the actual show, I'm going to be there in sneakers. But whatever. Okay, I'm bringing that dark brown a little bit into this V just to get some more definition. And then I'm going to add maybe some glitter. I'm going to let y'all decide what glitter I wear. Christine said you have to manually click every vote. It's exhausting. Like you have 25 votes and you have it up. You have to complete. You have it up to complete. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. You are not, girl. I do not know what you just said. Girls wore heels to the pre-T. Okay. I say no glitter. Oh, just leave it matte. Ooh, that's really a grungy Y2K moment. I could. Okay, we'll see. Here, I'll swatch the options that I was thinking of. So I have this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Ripple, which is gonna add like a bluish purple shift, but it doesn't look this crazy. Hold on. It's gonna be more of like a topper. See how that kind of just catches the light? So it'll just go over kind of in the middle here, but it'll just be a little bit of a subtle situation. I also have a ColourPop glitter in La Mesa, which is more of a champagne with pink sparkle. So that would be more on the neutral side and just add a little bit of sparkle. We'll see. I kind of like the purple pop. Or I have, where did it go? Oh, I have this L'Oreal Shadow Stick that this would be a little more satin than glitter. It would be more just like a rose gold glow that I could maybe pat onto my lid just to give it some reflection. What do we think? Okay, Christina's explaining this again. You have 25 votes. Oh, you have to click 25 votes for every single category because you can split your... Yeah, that seems quite cumbersome. It was weird. I went to the Katy Perry concert a couple weeks ago, which it was a free thing. I did not pay to go. I probably wouldn't have. It was fine. I've always really liked Katy Perry's music. Her personality and PR could stand to be improved. But there was like this voting aspect to her surprise songs, but you had to like register for her newsletter and the Wi-Fi in the stadium is so bad. And she's like, why isn't anyone voting? And it's like, girl, I don't want to give you my data in order to choose the surprise song and my phone isn't loading. And so I'm like I'm suspicious how much of that was actually voting and how much of it was pre-planned. Even though I looked up the set lists and they are different most nights, but I was like, there's no way all of us are voting and like getting through on this signal. I'm a little behind, but Morgan Wallen is a huge racist, so I think we already hated him. I did not know that, so the deal is sealed. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for telling me. The fact that he can use the N-word and still have a career, excuse me? I'm surprised they would... Oh, you know what? I think I did hear about that. And it was like a few years ago, right? I'm surprised that they even booked him on SNL at that point. Because I mean, like SNL's pretty liberal, you know what I mean? So maybe he was like, I'm on a, not an apology tour, like a reputation. He's in his reputation fixing era. Copper is my choice for, I don't know if, I didn't really have a copper. I had like a champagne and a purple, and then, oh, I guess, were you talking about this one? It was like the rose gold. I'm kind of leaning that way too. I don't necessarily want to use a glitter. I'm kind of worried about using glitter and getting it all over my face. Okay, I'm gonna use this first, and then maybe we can add glitter if I feel like we need it. But I'm just gonna use this to kind of highlight on the lid here. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Just a light glow. Yeah, but SNL had Blake Lively, so the worst of the worst are allowed. But was that was before like everything happened, wasn't it? at least all the recent situations. I just thought I think SNL is like kind of in a good spot right now in terms, because, you know, it's like kind of an ebb and flow. I mean, when you're on for 50 seasons, there are going to be some seasons or casts that are like not as iconic, I guess. And everyone thinks that, I think it's kind of like music. Like the music you listen to in high school is the music you always listen to. At least that's how it is for me. But I've heard that that's kind of like the music that sticks with you your whole life is the music you listen to in high school. And I kind of feel like that's the same thing for SNL casts. Like the SNL cast that was on the show when you were in high school is always going to be the SNL cast that you think is the best one. And for me, that was like Tina Fey, Andy Samberg, Amy Poehler, which, I mean, like, come on. But I think that this season is actually really, really good. I've really been enjoying it, and I just kind of think it's become like my weekly reprieve from the world. And there was like a 2-week point after they had their 50th anniversary special that they like took a break. And that was when like Katy Perry went to space and like all this stuff was happening. And I was like, SNL, there's going to be too much to cover. There's too much to go over. You need to come back, because that's the only thing whenever there's crazy news, I'm like, oh, at least it's going to be a good SNL this week. You know what I mean? Saturday Night Live used to be my jam in the 80s. See, exactly. Like, you know, when you grow up with a cast, that's the one that you're like, that's it. Blake Lively hasn't thrown chairs and called people the N-word. That is true. That is true. Although we've got a lot of stuff coming out about her. Okay. I'm pretty much done with my shadow. Really happy with how this smoky eye came out. I'm going to add mascara, but do I add lashes? I don't know. I'll let y'all decide. I have these individual lashes. I really like these because they're so much easier than strip lashes. And I'd probably just add a little bit on the corner, but let's see how this looks with just mascara. And we'll go over the next category. Collaboration of the year. Kendrick and SZA for Luther. Did that only come out? See, like some of these songs, I'm like, oh my God, that came out this past calendar year. Die With a Smile, which is the one that won the Oscar, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Marshmello and Kane Brown, Miles on It. Post and Morgan, and also like Post Malone is such a great person. So that collaboration is also confusing to me now, because Posty is like a sweetheart. And then we have Rosé and Bruno Mars, APT, which is like, I cannot escape that song. It is always on the radio and it's immediately in my head. And then we have Taylor and Post Malone, Fortnite, which I think out of all of these, I would love it to be Fortnite, especially because it didn't win a Grammy, but it's probably like the oldest song now on this list, right? Because it came out last April. So it technically hasn't even been, it's in the last calendar year. I can't wait to see what you're wearing. Aw, thank you so much, Tara, and I'm so glad you were able to make it. I am going to be staying pretty comfortable. It's not anything too exciting, to be honest. It's just like a little black dress that's backless. And then maybe I'll zhuzh it up a little bit with some accessories, but I really am just trying to be comfortable because I'm going to be on my feet for at least 3 hours. And then once we get inside, to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure if we're going to be sitting or standing. So anything goes. I don't want to be cranky, so I'm going to kind of err on the side of comfort. Just got a text message. And I was just trying to make sure it was not production because they've been texting me. Okay, collab of the year. What do we think, y'all? I'm going in with the L'Oreal Panorama Mascara. This is such a great, like, long-lasting, all-day mascara, sweat-proof, or maybe sweat-resistant, whatever. I've worn it in the South, and it did not smudge off. However, this is the mascara that I gouged myself with and damaged my cornea. So the wand is sharp. Don't get it in your eye. Miranda, you're going to show us your fit before you go, right? That I'm probably not going to do because I'm kind of getting ready in a weird order. I'm doing my makeup and then I'm going to get lunch and then I'm going to get dressed. But Make sure you follow me on Instagram because I'll show you there. And then if y'all want, I can turn this into a vlog for later this week because unlike some other seat filling opportunities, they're encouraging us to bring our phone and like share the experience. So I will have footage for the rest of the day if y'all want to follow along and kind of see how the rest of the day plays out. And in that case, I'll be sure to get some shots of my outfit. But I'm telling y'all, it's literally just a little black dress. It's the staple little black dress in my closet that kind of works for any occasion. And it's been kind of it's been hard for some of my most recent events, like social events and special events, because I just donated a bunch of clothes. I've lost weight and nothing fit me in my closet anymore. And I've been kind of slow to buy new things and just kind of replenish everything. And the kind of the section of my closet that got hit the hardest in terms of needing to donate the most and not necessarily buying new stuff right away has been like the special event category. So I did make sure that I got a little black dress that fits me to just kind of wear everywhere. So I figure like, little black dress, you swap out the bag and the shoes and you've got a whole new outfit. You know what I mean? Everyone needs one. So I'm sorry if it's boring and disappointing. Ooh, have you tried the bubble mascara yet? I have not. That is on my list. I really like the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. Before I tried this one, I also really liked the L'Oreal Telescopic. That one, the brush does have a little bit of a learning curve, but this one I feel like I get very similar results, but the brush is just easier to use when you're not poking your eye with it. Okay, let me add some liner under my lashes. And then do I need fake lashes? I don't know. Maybe I'll do the rest of my makeup and then decide. But I did get a little bit of mascara on my lid, which is preferable to my cornea. So I'm gonna have to fix that a little bit. And here is the tip. If you get mascara on your lid, take one of these eyebrow spoolie thingamabobs and make sure that it's dry and not smudging, and then just kind of brush at it and it'll flake right off. But the trick is it needs to be dry for that to happen, and sometimes I rush the process. So this one's not really coming off. Okay, well I need to highlight there anyway. That one did. Perfecto. Okay. Next, let's go into bronzer. We are almost done here. What do I want to do for my bronzer? Okay, actually, I'm going to contour with my Salt New York, what is this called? Sculpt and Bronze. So this is my custom Salt New York palette. This is a woman-owned makeup brand out of New York. The owner, Kiki, is a wonderful human being. This is a sustainable company because when they send you the makeup, they only come in these magnetic pans in paper envelopes, no packaging. So you can either buy one of their palettes or their little like single things, or if you already have a magnetic palette, you can just put it in there. But their makeup, they only have complexion products. So only like skin tint, contour, blush, highlight, and concealer. They are designed to look like your skin and just like melt in. So I really like their formulas. I'm going to use their contour, which I have the shade Taupe, and it's actually like a good contour shade for me. Let me see what brush I want to use. I have this one from Kaleidos, but I think that one's a little fluffy. I thought I grabbed a brush to use before I started this. Okay, maybe I will use that brush then. Okay. Oh, no, I don't want to use that. Okay, go into this contour shade. And I do have a code for Salt Beauty, 10% off with /beauty, and I linked it in the description. The eyeshadow looks so soft. I don't know if lashes would go with that. True. And I think that this mascara is also pretty pretty dramatic on its own. So did we get any opinions on collaboration of the year? Lady Gaga and Bruno, Kendrick and SZA, Marshmello and Kane Brown, Post and Morgan, which not voting for, Rose and Bruno, or Taylor Swift and Posty. I'd like to see Taylor Swift and Posty win that one. I think we gotta, I'm sure that the Swifties came out in full force, especially after the Grammys, of not winning anything, that we're gonna win something tonight. And maybe if it's not an award, it's Rep TV. That would be a win. Okay, so I'm just adding this very softly. Because the eyes are so dark, I'm not trying to do like statement contour or statement bronze or anything like that. I'm keeping the rest of the face pretty natural, which is also why I wanted to use these products, because again, they just kind of melt into the skin and blend really, really naturally. I think I'm also gonna go ahead and use her blush and highlight. So this is the Lip and Cheek in Mauve, and just one of my favorite kind of everyday cream cheek formulas. Just gonna do that very lightly to add some color back to my face, but again, not trying to be a statement blush. Taylor and Post have my vote as well, says Tara. I agree. I agree. Let's see what the next category is. Social Song of the Year. So I'm guessing that just means like the song that went viral the most, or everybody's favorite viral song. So that we have Chapel Roan Hot to Go. So we have the dance. DJO, is that how we're saying that? End of Beginning, wouldn't be able to tell you what that song is. Doechii Anxiety, love Doechii. She killed it at the Grammys. Lola Young, Messy. I feel like that one's gonna win. That's the, 'cause I'm too messy, now I'm too clean. Trying not to get in trouble on YouTube again. Shabuzi, a bar song, and then Tommy Richmond, $1 Million Baby. Oh, that's what he does. Okay, I did not know who he was before. I think he was also in the new artist category. I think Lola's gonna take that one for sure. I'm taking also the Salt New York. I think they call this their Radiant Refill. And let me tell you what shade this is in. Beige. It's just like their champagne-y highlight. Miranda, I am more interested in in your makeup look and the products you're using. Thank you. I'm glad that that's what you're here for. Yeah, I'm really happy with how the face makeup is turning out. Really wanted to keep it nice and natural. And then we'll set it to be a little bit more long lasting. Although this Maybelline Skin Tint is the one that I use for most like concerts and stuff like that and traveling. It's very, very sweat proof. And I just think that it looks nice and natural even when you use it without a primer. All right, now we are at the lips. I do think I want to go a little bit darker on the lips, but maybe we can make it a combo. Oh wait, let me add this this highlight to my brow bone as well. And add a little bit of glow. And I'll put some in the inner corner. I'm actually really stoked about how this smoky eye came out. I feel like I've been such on that clean girl aesthetic train, you know, just very clean and glowy makeup lately. I'm very excited that this type of look is coming back because it's so fun. I just love it. Okay, let me wipe my lips off because I did have a lip mask on at the beginning of this video. Thank you again for everybody who tuned in today so last minute and stuck through. Means a lot. Okay, Here's what I'm thinking. I did this lip combo last night and I immediately was like, ooh, I think I kind of want to do this again tomorrow. I've got the Maybelline Lifter Liner. This is in the shade Let's Bounce, which is kind of a brown, it's almost like a brown mauve. There are some like pinkish undertones to it, but I think because we're doing like the grungy eye, it's kind of going into 90s territory. We've got J-Lo hosting, you know what I'm saying? And especially because my outfit is a little bit on the plainer side, I'm kind of going more all out with the rest of my makeup. That's my theory here. So I think I'm going to pair this with the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in Lynx, which is a lighter, cool brown. So I think those two together are gonna be really nice. And then I'll just bring this with me for touch-ups. But again, since I'm not gonna be eating, I don't really have to worry about doing a super, super long wear lip. I was thinking about doing a lip stain, but I was like, maybe not. You always give the best of the best, and you work so hard to bring that to us. Oh, thank you so much, Tara. Those are such kind words. I really appreciate the support. You know, like I said, last time, live streams are still very new to me and kind of nerve-wracking because I am so chatty and I'm like, oh my God, am I just like talking about nothing? But I always have so much fun with everybody who tunes in, and I really want to continue to do more. And I feel like I finally kind of perfected my setup where the quality is good and you can hear me. I know my early live streams were a little rough, but we're getting there. Ooh, this is gonna be good. I like this. The only thing I don't like about these pencils is that they sharpen like crap. If you haven't seen my review of these, please check it out because a lot of people have told me that they're buying these, using them until they have to sharpen them, and then because they don't sharpen well, they're throwing them away, which is obviously like not the point of buying drugstore makeup. And when you want to find good products for less, if becomes a single-use product, that cost value does not make sense. But I like the formula. Okay, so since I'm doing a combo, I'm gonna kind of fill in the corners here. Aw, thank you. I love how chatty you are. Thanks so much. I mean, I guess I'm kind of a yapper for a living, huh? I was the kid who got talks too much on their report card. I have that Maybelline Lifter Liner. It's such a pretty color. I love this color, and I don't have many like brown liners, so it is still the one that I use. And I think the formula is good. It's just the sharpening aspect is so annoying because it'll just break right off when you try to sharpen it. Always remember to do this when you do your liner, because sometimes you can't see what's going on under your bottom lip and you're like, oh, that looks crazy, because my bottom lip kind of curls. Okay. Nice. So I've got that mostly blended in here. So that way it's not actually giving 90s brown lip liner vibes. We want it to be a little more updated than that. So now I can go in with my ColourPop gloss. And that'll give a nice gradient effect. Yeah. I like that. Although I am gonna have to touch this up before I go because I am still going to be eating lunch. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to decide if I should powder, maybe a little bit around the nose. I do absolutely love this new About Face powder. It is the Curtain Call powder in the shade Veil. I also have their pink one, which is great for under the eyes if you have like darkish circles, although there is like pigment to this. So if you don't have dark circles, don't use this because your under eyes will be pink. But the Veil shade, which is kind of like translucent for lighter skin tones, beautiful, beautiful formula that really blurs. The only thing I don't like is the packaging. It is so bulky. Because look, this is the actual jar. They've just made it like crazy huge. Okay, I'm gonna only use a little bit because I don't want to look powdery, but I do want to control shine a bit if I'm going to be in front of cameras. So I'll go on either side of my nose and on my forehead. And right under my eye. Ooh, no creasing. And around the chin and nose, under the nose, because that whenever I like blow my nose from allergies, that is the first part of my makeup that comes off. Oh my gosh, it just blurs my skin so much. I mean, I know we're on live stream, so it's gonna be a little blurry anyway, but pores where? Nowhere to be found on this face. Very, very good. And especially because my old favorite powder, which was from Lottie London, which you used to be able to get at Walmart, Lottie London literally disappeared. The brand literally disappeared. So I had like a couple favorites from them that I'm not gonna be able to get after I finish my my current ones. Okay, let's set this makeup. Where is my setting spray? Here it is. Milani Make It Last. This is the go-to. Get the large bottle. I mean, personally, I go through the little bottles so quickly that this is just such a better value. I use the original version. I think they also have a dewy version and a matte version, and then they also have an SPF version. The original is just a really nice natural finish. It does not make your makeup glowy, and it does not mattify it. In fact, I think it feels refreshing. So especially because, you know, I'm powdering in my T-zone for my oily spots, this kind of just like balances everything out again. I can't remember which color she had trouble with, but it kept breaking. So it's way down the pencil. Tara, that was this one. And I went to Ulta and I exchanged it. I showed them the video and they let me exchange it because it was clearly not working. And I'm glad that I did because I love this color, but that was the one where I kept sharpening it and it kept breaking. I couldn't get it to sharpen. Okay. Nice and generous. Thank you, Cat Lady. Yeah, I think the brown really brings everything together and balances the face, because I know with smoky eyes, especially if we're talking about like the original Y2K smoky eye, that was often paired with a nude lip or rather a concealer lip. And while I think for nostalgia's sake, I'll always love that look, it is a little top heavy. And especially because my brows are almost black and I do use black brow pencils, it just looks really uneven when I go too nude on my lips when I've gone so heavy on my eyes. I always have to kind of bring some symmetry to the face vertical wise. But yeah, I think we're good. I think I'm deciding against lashes today. Yeah, I don't want to deal with the glue. And then usually that's what it comes down to is, am I in the mood to deal with the glue? But here is the finished look. So my plan now, right on time, I was hoping that we'd be kind of done by 11. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna change, but let me know if you'd be interested in me continuing this video as a vlog and uploading it later this week maybe. But if you're not already, follow me on Instagram, which is just @/beauty, and I will at least try to get some stories up today of whatever the experience may be. Honestly, I have no idea how it's gonna go. So if it's fun, if it's interesting, I'll keep you updated. If you don't hear anything from me, then it's probably boring. But hopefully it'll be a good time. Christine, I will see you in a little bit. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the party today, especially on your day off if you're in the US and it's Memorial Day. Really appreciate the support, and I will see you later this week. All right. Oh, and we got M Frog. Right before I go, I want to say hi because you comment on so many of my videos. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Cat Lady. Thank you, 5Amy Dare. Thanks, Tara. Say thank you to everyone. Thanks, John and Sam and Adam and Lindsay. And who else we got in here before we go? All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys later.